Hello all, apologize if you can't hear me too well over the cars and everything, but I'm currently at the Cedar Lee Theaters in Cleveland, and I am here because a very good film friend of ours is showing his movie, and that movie is called Rebirth. Yes, I want to see that. That's on my Netflix list. But yes, should be coming up here. Rebecca, that's on my list too. There it is, Rebirth. When night falls, they will rise. Let's go see it. This is Roger Connors. He directed and wrote, or just starred in it?
I directed, starred in, wrote, at times costumed Rebirth.
This is very exciting. This, as I said in the intro beforehand, this is my first time coming out here. So we moved over here now. Roger is going to be on the show at one point. He is very, very sweet. He's very warm-hearted, just a huge heart. You know, so
Thank you. Better for the zombies to eat.
So we are going to go in. I'm very happy that I get to see this. It's a packed house. So
Right.
so let's go in and check this out.
Awesome. Yeah, man. I hope you'll enjoy it. And Rebirth. Look at us on Facebook. We have an official Facebook page. Follow us on Instagram, Rebirth the Movie. You'll see it all over the place. And we will be releasing information on the release of the movie soon.
Sweet.
Awesome.
Roger, thank you.
Thank you.
And it's gonna get worse again. And we're gonna go purple. I'm happy I kept it going for the 6 of you. You guys, thank you. Thank you for coming out and supporting us. My name is Roger Connors. I directed this movie, Rebirth. It is let me take the mask off. It is a remake of George Romero's iconic Night of the Living Dead. Wait, fans of Night of the Living Dead? Yeah, there we go. Is that Corey? Yeah. Oh my God, you came to my movie! I'm not even staying. I'm leaving. I'm gonna be honest, I'm leaving after this. I saw this movie twice in a row. I'm exhausted with it. It's great. Don't get me wrong, I'm very proud of it. But last night was packed. The last weekend was packed, and I'm going to go into a coma. But I'm going to want to know what you guys think of it. So, so basically, here's the gist. Retelling Night of the Living Dead with a social commentary to apply to 2020. We tackle some important issues. There are issues that were relevant in 1968 when the original film came out. Racism, mainly social injustices across the board. Now in 2020, we also tackle some topics like homophobia, government control, Christian influence when abused and for the wrong purposes. You know, religion can be a great thing. It can also be used as a weapon. And we like to portray that in this movie as well. So there's a lot of things going on with this movie. And I'm really thankful to my team for helping me create this. It is pretty awesome for what it is. We made it with a really small budget, but thanks to my editors, Mick and Malachi, for helping make that possible. So, with no further ado, I'm gonna let the movie start rolling, but thank you guys for coming. I was like, there's not gonna be anybody here at all. But yeah, I'm happy you guys are here, and I hope you guys enjoy it. And we're gonna be signing a distribution deal for it soon. So, yeah, here we are, Rebirth. Thanks, guys.
Alrighty, I just got out of Rebirth, and oh, by the way, I want to see that. I want to see Fat Man. Walton Goggins, Mel Gibson, heck yes. But I did just get out of the theater. I'm seeing that next week. Let Him Go with Kevin Costner. Love Kevin Costner. And I just got out of Rebirth. So, let's head home, and I will share with you all my review. It's like a ghost town. I am now back home. I am safe, and I am cozy in my little humble abode. I have just now gotten back from seeing Rebirth, which is done by Roger Connors. First of all, the Cedar Lee Theater, that was my first time visiting it, and I was very nervous because It's in an area that I'm not familiar with, and that's always what happens whenever I go to see a movie in a theater that I haven't been to before. But luckily, everything worked out okay. The Cedar Lee Theater was also showing, I know you saw a couple of the Netflix movies that they were showing. They were also showing On the Rocks, the Sofia Coppola movie that has Bill Murray and Rashida Jones. You can watch that on Apple TV Plus if you so choose, but I'm just letting you know that this theater had it. But we're here to talk about Rebirth. Now, first and foremost, just because Roger is a friend, an acquaintance of mine, does not mean that my opinion of the movie is skewered or biased. I give everything an honest, open look. Does this movie have flaws? A couple, and I will point them out in a little bit. With that being said, this was pretty great. I loved it. This is a solid, really strong movie. One that I hope gets picked up for this distribution deal that he talked about at the beginning, and I hope gets a. I know it'll get a DVD release, but I hope a Blu-ray release. That would be great. Because I will buy it and I will watch it over and over again. This is a really, really strong movie. As he said at the beginning, this movie is a remake of not Nightcrawler, steady hands, Night of the Living Dead. I saw Nightcrawler first and my brain just went, oh yeah, Nightcrawler. Night of the Living Dead, the classic zombie movie from the late great George A. Romero. May he rest in heaven. That is obviously a classic movie. What else can I say about that? This is the second remake of Night of the Living Dead that I've seen. There was one from Tom Savini back in 1990 that I was not a fan of. Just for whatever reason, I wasn't really into the movie a whole lot, so it is what it is. But that was a few years ago. That movie needs a definite revisit. As far as Rebirth goes, as I said, this is a very, very strong movie. The plot of the movie, if you have been somewhat living under a rock, allow me to pull the rock. Let me pull the rock away. It's Night of the Living Dead. These people get holed up in this house. They have to fend themselves off from a horde of zombies. That's really it. This movie is a lot more violent and gory in ways that the original movie wasn't, because this is 2020 and the original movie was 1968. You could get away with showing a lot more now than back then. This is just a really, really well done movie. As Roger said, the movie touches on a lot of themes that are, and a lot of social issues that are going on right now, such as homophobia, racism, using religion, specifically Christianity, as a weapon. Just a whole bunch of stuff, and those are executed extremely well. There are a couple of racial and homophobic slurs that are in the movie that, when they're said, they hurt, they sting, but they're supposed to, because it's an issue that unfortunately we still in 2020 have to deal with. And it's such a shame. If you can't accept somebody for who they are, just because they are what they are, whether it's a different skin color, or if they're gay or bisexual, if they are the nicest person that they could be, and you don't like them simply because of their race or their sexual orientation, then there's something kind of wrong with you, because you really should. It's not your life. You're not living it. it should really be of no concern to you. The only thing that should concern you is whether or not they are a decent and respectful human being to you. And this movie touches on a lot of those things, and as I said, it does it very, very, very well. The acting in this movie, especially for an independently made and produced and put together film, is pretty exceptional. Roger is in the movie. I have my handy dandy laptop here because a few of the actors' names I did forget about, and I want to make sure they get their credit. He plays Adam. He's fantastic. He really is. He, watching this movie, because this is the second movie I've seen with him in it, that I can know of off the top of my head. The first one being Lilith Ratchet. In this one, you can definitely kind of see, you know, that Roger is playing a character, but you can also go, you know, oh, you know, that's Roger. That's something that he would say or do. With this one, not at all. He transforms into this character so well that I forgot while watching the movie that was him on screen. He does such a fantastic job. Really, really, he does. We have Aswan Harris as Ben. These two are the leads of the movie, and he does a really, really good job as well. He kind of takes over as the main speaking voice or the main voice of the movie, because Roger's character spends a lot of time just kind of mute because he's very shocked and scared of everything that's going on. Rightfully so. So Harris did a really good job as well. Rachel Anderson is in this movie. She plays Helen Cooper. Fantastic job. You can also find her in Misha's movie, In Guns We Trust. You can find a lot of these people in Misha's movies. But I liked her a little bit more in this movie than in Guns We Trust. And that's not a slight against her or that movie in any way. It's just I think that she had a stronger character in this movie. That's just me. Alvin Hudson. He plays Reverend Harold Cooper. Oh my lord. No pun intended. This guy was great. He in my opinion kind of runs away with the movie. First of all, his speaking voice, it's just a very smooth, dark sulfur mixed with caramel or caramel, and just like, If he could narrate an audiobook, just please send it to me. Have him do like 17 audiobooks, please, because he has such a tremendous voice. And his character is, his performance is fantastic. His character is not. He's this like mean, spiteful person, and he is just phenomenal. I really have no other words for it. He's just phenomenal. The only main actor in this movie that I know offhand personally is Roger. I don't know I've never met Alvin before. I've heard of Rachel, and I've never met Aswan before. But guys, if you are watching this, you did a phenomenal job. There are other fantastic performances in this movie as well. There's a lot of people who play as extras in the movie, two of which have been on the show before. Ember and Ron are in the movie. They play ghouls. So, what else can be said? The writing in this movie is particularly strong. I do like, again, going back to the religion used as a weapon, particularly Christianity, was touched upon in here, because that's an issue that I've been seeing popping up a lot more as of recently. I don't know how long it's been going on. It could be going on forever. I'm 22, so I don't know everything. But let me talk for just a minute about a company called PureFlix. This is a company kind of co-founded by David A.R. White, who is in a lot of their movies, such as the God's Not Dead trilogy and probably many others. And they are a case of what I like to call religious persecution. That basically means, I Googled just to make sure I was using that word correctly, persecution. It's late, I'm tired. Basically, 90% of their movies consist of God is good all the time, and all the time, God is good. They could leave it at that. But then they go a step further and basically portray everybody who doesn't believe in God as the villain. I would like to give a quote from a review of the movie God's Not Dead 2 from Dustin Putman. Dustin, if you happen to be watching this, hello. Here we go. He says, quote, God's Not Dead 2 is ceaselessly sincere at best and patently offensive at worst. A film that paints every Christian character as a beacon of holy light and goodness, and everyone else as irrational, angry, morally bankrupt, spiritually lost villains. Yeah. That's pretty much every PureFlix movie in a nutshell. Now, they have a handful of movies where this is not the case, and they focus more on the story and the individual characters within the story rather well. There is a movie called, what is it, Indivisible? Yeah, Indivisible. That's a good movie from PureFlix. Their sequel to Unbroken that they did, I thought wasn't too bad. They do have a handful of good movies. The rest are crap. But they are a classic case of that. Now, I wouldn't say they go as extreme as Hudson's character does. There are a few characters in some of their movies that kind of do have that same personality. Well, not kind of, they do, but they can't say some of the stuff that he says because the highest rating they want is a PG-13. So, so yes, it's great. The cinematography, also really impressed with how well that was done. There are some shots in this movie that if you isolate them are just beautiful. There is a shot of a bug on someone's hand that I thought was really well done and beautiful. There was a shot during a scene where the characters are trying to board up the house and Hudson's character is shot from like kind of in the shadows. Whenever it goes to him, I thought those shots were beautiful. And there's an awesome shot of a full moon as the sky is like kind of black, but it's got like these yellow orangish colors. Just magnificent. Yeah, this is just a really, really, really good movie, and I want to stress that. Let's get into the flaws. Yes, not every movie is perfect, and there are a few flaws that I have with this movie. The movie is 99 minutes, and it is a very slow movie. So I did find at least one or two times I almost started to kind of daydream, or my mind started to wander a little bit, mainly because some of the pacing in a couple parts wasn't as tight as I would have liked it to be, like to match the rest of the movie. So that was my first issue. The second issue I have is that some of the lines that are delivered in the movie are kind of delivered a little stiltedly, and that happens. That can happen in any movie. I'm not saying it's particular to this movie. I'm just saying it's one of the flaws that I noticed. Now, this is not frequent. It happens every once in a while, but I did happen to catch it. And my third issue that I had with the movie, and my final one, is the sound mixing. This has happened a couple of times with some of the locally produced ventures, which is fine. I understand that not everybody's working with a budget of $200 million, so it is okay. I understand. But some of the sound mixing was noticeably off, where the sound effects would occasionally drown out some of the dialogue. But that's really it. And if those are the only issues that I have with the movie, a couple of little minor nitpicks, then you've made quite a strong movie. And Roger, you made a really, really good movie. I can't stress that enough. This is just really, really, really good. There are two horror movie tropes that are in the movie that I'm not a big fan of, but I'm not counting it as a slight against the movie. There's the big one is zombies. I don't find zombies particularly scary or anything. As a matter of fact, I'm kind of getting sick of zombies. The Walking Dead, I hate. I think it's an awful show. That's my opinion. If you don't like it, that's fine. You don't have to like my opinion. If you like the show, more power to you for getting enjoyment out of something that I could not. So I just don't find zombies particularly scary. But the suspense that's crafted from these, people hiding and evading these zombies is done very well. The other one is, at one point, Roger's hand slips and he turns on this jukebox that plays 45 records, and an old song comes on. Whether it's a song that was kind of done in that style for the movie, or whether it is an actual old song that they got permission to use, or if it was in the public domain. I don't find old music to be creepy or scary. This is more so done in those stupid Conjuring movies, especially the Annabelle movies. So that's just more kind of something that gets under my skin. I don't know, it could be, it literally could just be me. I am very particular. But I don't know, that's just something that kind of throws me off whenever, it's when they use Tiny Tim's music in Insidious, I'm like, I don't find this creepy because I heard it in SpongeBob first, and that just makes me giggle. They're using the song from SpongeBob, "Living in the Sunlight." But horror movie soundtracks can tend to be really, really good, whether it's a score or it's an actual soundtrack. I still think probably the best horror movie soundtrack might be from my favorite horror movie, which is Rob Zombie's The Devil's Rejects. That collection of Southern rock music is just fantastic, and it fits that movie so well. But now I'm getting off track. One final thing I wanted to mention: this movie's style with the slow pacing and the bouts of brutal violence reminded me a lot of S. Craig Zahler. If you don't recognize the name, you've seen his movies. He did Bone Tomahawk with Kurt Russell, Brawl in Cell Block 99 with Vince Vaughn, and my personal favorite of his so far, Dragged Across Concrete with Mel Gibson and Vince Vaughn. Now you understand what I'm talking about. So that's a big compliment, because those are great movies, except for Bone Tomahawk, only because I haven't seen it. What? I know. But either way, that is meant as precisely a compliment. And one final thing I want to mention, I noticed that the movie's colors, the color palette looked a bit desaturated. Whether this was intentional or not, it serves to the movie's benefit, because it not only put me in the mood to watch a really good horror movie. It also kind of reminded me of, it served as a little bit of a tribute to the original Night of the Living Dead, which is in black and white. So yes, as I mentioned at the beginning of the review, kind of as a joke, but for real, I am giving the movie 3.5 stars out of 4. That is a big thumbs up. Just like I said, the pacing and the sound mixing and all that, those were the only issues that I had. But other than that, this is fantastic. Roger, you did a hell of a great job putting this movie together. All of the actors and actresses, you guys were phenomenal. I really, really hope this movie gets picked up for a distribution deal, because this was just awesome. This was really, really great. Rebirth will be coming soon, hopefully sooner than later, because I want everyone watching to see this movie. It's just fantastic. Roger, thank you for giving me the opportunity to come see this movie before the general public got to see it. So that's pretty good. I also think I might be the first video review for the movie. Awesome. Rebirth. Be on the lookout when it eventually comes out. I will post a video whenever Roger posts an announcement saying that it's getting a distribution deal, and I will just pop on and say, hey, just so you know, it's getting distribution. So that's it. Be on the lookout for it, because it's great.